Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Really glad to have this CEnTOUR final conference, not because it's final, but to have you here. And it seemed yesterday when we started with the Chamber of Commerce of Marche region and the Polytechnic University of Marche with the project idea. And then we worked together for almost 3 years across Italy, Spain, Greece, North Macedonia, Moldova, and Belgium. And it's been really rewarding. We started when circularity and tourism were really just an idea. And we signed the agreement with the COVID outburst. So really, thank you to you all and to all the SMEs that embark in the project. And thank you, SMEs, for supporting us through all the phases and the adaptation and resilience that we had. I'm really glad now we can start. We'll have 3 sessions. The first session will be devoted to the project results, so it's the project point of view. The second session is from the main beneficiaries' point of view. So we hear from the SMEs from 3 of the 5 countries, and also from the facilitators, which are, a very key aspect of the project. And the third session will be a very valuable opportunity to talk about future with some experts worldwide, not just from the European community, but also from the UNWTO. So we are really glad about it. And now I'm really, really happy to have to introduce you to Lucia Mazarova, is project advisor at the European Innovation Council and Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise Executive Agency. And she's been really of support for the project. So it's good to hear from her about the agency and also future opportunities. Thank you very much. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you very much, Elena. I hope you can well hear me, everybody. Unfortunately, I couldn't join you in Corfu, and trust me, I would be very glad to visit this beautiful island and to be there on site with you. But I'm talking to you from Brussels, where our agency is based. So, dear participants, dear consortium partners, dear companies, very warm welcome on behalf of Executive Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises and European Innovation Council. Today, as Elena told you, this is the key milestone for CEnTOUR project because it's the very final big conference where the consortium partners, facilitators are very much looking forward to share with you all the findings, lessons learned, and their thoughts about almost 3 years of implementation of CEnTOUR project. And as you know, the project's focus was on circular economy and how it can be implemented in tourism and tourism companies. And that's exactly in the core of the activities that our agency is actually supporting. So small businesses are in the very center of our work. And that's also the framework under which CEnTOUR project has been co-funded by our agency. And it was specifically under the COSME program. So it was the program for competitiveness of enterprises and small and medium-sized enterprises, which finished actually in 2020, and it was succeeded by a new EU program called Single Market Program, about which I would like to talk to you in a couple of minutes. Then I will also present a little bit of agency. Then I will focus on, I would like to give you a kind of overview of all the funding opportunities which are currently there be it for consortium partners to see what is possible to be done in the future, or then be it for tourism companies, which were supported by CEnTOUR project, but maybe which would like to go a step further in their circularity or in sustainable tourism. So just give me a moment, I will share with you my presentation because it would be much easier to follow. Here we go. So I hope you can now see the slides.
Yes. Lucia, yes. We let you know as soon as we can see your slides.
Okay, it should be now there.
Not yet.
There.
Before we have a backup version of your presentation, we can share it. Try.
I can try again. It doesn't work. Maybe that would be the way.
If you can put it full screen, we can see it now.
Okay,
but
great.
Need it full screen if you can, like with the view.
Yeah, with presentation view. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. I don't have mouse with me, so it's a little bit complicated.
Almost. Oh no, we lost it.
Oh, I didn't do a thing.
Okay, can you share entire screen, not only a PowerPoint application?
Yeah, I will try. Apologies for this technical glitch.
Screen one, not a PowerPoint application.
Slideshow is okay.
This one. Is it working?
No. We can share it.
No. I will give that on air when I get it, but no. One moment to wait to Zoom.
I can see it.
Yeah. So is it all good?
Almost.
No.
Are we sharing it?
We don't get it.
There is some signal problem.
Shared start, but we see a black screen.
Yeah, for me, I can see it. So
yeah,
I think it will be better if you take over.
Yes, we are trying.
Not locally.
Okay. Shall I do it?
Yes.
For me. No, you can.
Can you stop share screen, please?
Okay. So we can see the presentation now, and you can just let us know when to skip the slides.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elena. Apologies again.
Thank you.
Yes. So as I said, just a brief repetition. So I would like to give you kind of overview of single market program first. Then we will pass to a short presentation about the SME agency. And at the end, I will give you current opportunities for funding which are available and the single market program for tourism businesses, but also upcoming calls for proposals for interested applicants. So we may pass the slides to the presentation about the single market program. Yes, so Single Market Program is actually a program which started in 2021, and it's part of the new multi-annual financial framework of the European Commission. And its purpose is to help the single market to reach its full potential. The single market is one of the building pillars of the European Union, as you very well know, and actually this year it is celebrating its 30th anniversary, so 30 years of a single market program, of the single market actually. And the program is composed of different components, and one of them is really focusing on small and medium-sized businesses, and it's called SME Pillar. So we may pass to the next slide, where you will see that this SME Pillar is focusing on 3 different areas of support for SMEs. And it is to facilitate the market access and reduce administrative burdens for companies. The second strength is to support the uptake of innovation and to address global and societal challenges. And the support of tourism is actually coming under this objective or area. And then the last focus area is to foster favorable business environment and entrepreneurial culture. We may move ahead. Just to give you an idea about the budget envelope which is available for a single market program, it is more than 4 billion euro for 7 years, and the support to small and medium-sized enterprises and their competitiveness has a very rounded budget of 1 billion, so it represents about 1/4 of the entire SMP budget, single market program budget. We can move there to the next slide, where I wanted to give you a little bit more of a context about where the single market program stands as regards the support of tourism companies. So there are many other programs, EU programs, which could support businesses, and SMP is just one of them. And actually, as you see on the picture, and if you follow the small orangish arrow towards a very small circle, that's exactly where SMP program stands with its budget compared to all the other initiatives, EU initiatives currently available. And this is why I'm mentioning it, because even if you will not find a perfect funding opportunity for your company in my presentations under the current calls, it is to let you know that there are other initiatives available to support your businesses in becoming more sustainable, more green, or more digital. And that's, for example, there are also programs or initiatives at regional level, at national level, and then at the EU level. There might be some initiatives not really focusing only on tourism companies, but given that tourism companies are very often cross-sectoral, they have activities coming in different areas. There may be certainly other programs. For example, there might be programs, initiatives focusing on helping companies how to reduce their energy consumption. So that would be one of the areas where also tourist companies may find funding under such programs. So we can move to the next slide, where I prepared a short overview of what our agency is doing. Our agency has changed name in 2021. So during the implementation of the CEnTOUR project. So before we were focusing only on small and medium-sized enterprises. And as of April 2021, we were restructured and we got one of the Horizon Europe programs under implementation, which is called European Innovation Council. So now, besides the businesses, our agency really focuses on supporting innovation. We have also a couple of other programs or initiatives that we are funding, like European Innovation Ecosystems or on the Horizon Europe program, or certain parts of European Regional Development Fund. And now I will, not to lose time, I would really like to focus on the opportunities which are there for the companies. So I will start, we can move to the next slide. I will give you first overview of some calls and projects which Our agency co-funded as of 2019, because 2019 was the year where we published a call boosting sustainable tourism development and capacity of tourism SMEs through transnational cooperation and knowledge transfer. And this was the call for proposal under which CEnTOUR project became successful. And why I'm mentioning it, because all 6 projects funded under this call are coming to its end this summer or this autumn. And it means that they are at the very end of their activities, and they have a lot of rich content, interesting content for tourism businesses to share. So, for example, many projects developed training materials. They've developed workshops. There are recordings of seminars available. So I really invite you to go there and to explore what these 6 projects achieved over almost 3 years of implementation. And that could be a kind of support also for your businesses to go step ahead in your journey towards being more sustainable. And I'm very proud also to present a kind of partial results, not yet formal, but we have received information that out of these 6 projects altogether, we have supported more than 1,000 or almost 1,000 small and medium-sized enterprises, tourism businesses, and these companies come from 28 countries. And thanks to CEnTOUR projects, we actually have even coverage of non-EU countries. So as Elena was mentioning, CEnTOUR supported companies from Moldova and North Macedonia. So under this call, there are no more funding calls or cascade calls for SMEs available, but there are still materials available. So we can pass to the next slide. So the year after, in 2020, under the COSME program, we have published another call for proposals whose focus was on innovation and then helping SMEs to become more digital. And there we have funded 9 projects. All of them also were supposed to publish cascade calls where SMEs could receive small amounts of funding for their activities. And there, I'm happy to share that right now we have still 1 cascade call open under the project resetting, and then there are still other 3 to come later on this year. Already now I will tell you that towards the end of my presentation you will find a way how to find all these cascade calls, and also I will be leaving the presentation to CEnTOUR Consortium so that it can be uploaded after the conference, and you can kind of go back to it and get all the hyperlinks to all the projects I'm mentioning. So if SMEs are looking forward to kind of be more digital, this might be a place to go, or these might be the projects relevant to go and see more details for it. So we can pass to the next slide, which is presenting the first call published in 2021 under Single Market Program, SME Pillar, as I presented to you some minutes ago. And there we are funding 10 projects where all of them started on 1st of January this year, so they're very early in their implementation, but all of them are expected to publish their calls, cascade calls for SMEs this year. Already right now, you can find 5 cascade calls open. Some of them start to close early July, so really it's a good moment to go and check if you would be eligible for any of those calls. And we expect all the others, so 5 others, to be available before the end of this year. So there are many funding opportunities under this call. Each project, as it is the case for CEnTOUR, that they focus on circular economy in tourism. Each project has a different focus. There are projects focusing on rural areas. There are projects even focusing on sky as a destination, or sky as a way how to promote tourism. So in case you're really looking for something specific, go and check each of the projects. Also, each cascade call, each project can define their eligibility as regards geographical conditions. It means that you need to check if your company would be eligible to join. So there are some calls which are open only in certain countries. Some projects went even beyond, and they opened the calls only for some SMEs in some regions. So we can now pass to the next slide, which presents something which is coming up. So this is the call published only in 2022. We are currently, we have already selected 6 projects that will be funded, but we are in the grant agreement preparation phase, meaning that we are finalizing the grant agreements with these companies. And the focus of these projects will be on sustainable growth and building resilience in tourism. And the objective would be to empower SMEs to carry out the twin transition. What we call in the European Commission twin transition is actually digital and green transition, to help SMEs to become more digital and to be more sustainable, more green. So we expect that these 6 projects will start toward the end of this year, which means that most probably next year they will open their cascade calls. For that, we are trying here a little bit more innovative idea. So far we were funding single businesses. So via cascade calls, we're looking for single companies. But in this call from 2022, we will be funding innovative projects. So it's an opportunity for companies to come up, for example, with their supplier and to co-develop a new innovative product together, maybe becoming more circular, maybe becoming just more sustainable, and to submit such project and get funding from these projects. So very interesting opportunity there. You just need to be a little bit more patient to see these cascade calls published. We can move to the next slide, and it's actually here I will give you an idea. What's coming next is a new call for proposals, so-called big tourism call, that we are preparing right now. It's been covered in the work program of a single market program in 2023. It was planned to publish this call actually right now, because it was planned for Q2, so by the end of June. But unfortunately, we have some delays with preparation of the call text. So you may expect this call most probably after summer, given that we always know that summer is not the best period to publish call for proposals, because organizations or associations active in tourism are very much busy with high summer season and not really focusing on writing proposals. So the focus of this call will be on transitioning to a more sustainable and resilient ecosystem, empowering tourism SMEs. So again, it's very similar to the topic or focus of the call from the last year. Here, we are adding this element of resilience so that the tourism companies become more resilient. The call will be again providing direct and indirect support, be it financial or consultative, to companies, but this includes also startups and entrepreneurs who wish to develop innovative concepts and projects contributing to the transition of EU tourism. So you will receive the presentation with the hyperlink there to receive more details. But for now, really, all the information that we have about this call is very general and very broad, because we really need to get into this more concrete stage of preparing the call text with all the conditions, how to apply, about eligible activities and so on. But it is also our usual practice to publish and to organize info days about these tourism calls. So once the call for proposal is published after summer, you will also find their information when we will be organizing info day, where we will explain a little bit better the call text and give you some hints how to prepare good quality application. And this usually happens 2-3 weeks after the publication date of the call for proposals. So this is really something which is ahead of us and is coming, and I hope that we will receive some applications also from Central Consortium partners. So we can move to the next slide, and here really is just to conclude and to give you a concrete way how to find these cascade calls that I have just presented. So all of them needs to be published on Funding and Tender portal. So you can move to the next slide. So here I indicated very well the path. You go to Funding and Tenders portal and you are looking for cascade funding calls under tourism. And we can move to the next slide. There you have the list. You will see the list of all the cascade calls. And when you click on them, you see the short description. And also you have their link to the project website where you can apply. So that would be it from my side. I hope it gives you some like a good overview of what keeps us busy at our executive agencies in the area of sustainable tourism. We can move to the next slide, Elena, to the very last one, I think. Yes, so I invite you also to follow our agency on social media so that you receive updated information about our calls, about cascade calls, but also about some results of our projects. In case you would need some more clarification about my presentation or what I've told, don't hesitate to reach out to my professional email address. And by this, I would like to thank you for your attention. I, again, welcome you at the final conference of CEnTOUR project and wish you a very nice, fruitful, and interesting event today.
Thank you very much, Lucia. You put us already in the mindset of future possibilities, so we can start exchanging ideas. And I take the opportunity also to thank ISMEA for the nice exchange of information among the program's calls. So we had a good communication with Turco projects, but also with the project that follow, and that was really, really interesting and useful, I think. So thank you for that. Now we can kick off with the first session, which is CEnTOUR project skills, strategies, and adoption of sustainable solutions, lessons learned. And I invite Geneviève Aline, circular economy expert at ECORES. She's a facilitator and project manager in circular economy and zero waste strategies. And in CEnTOUR, she was one of ECORES experts in circular economy. Thank you, Geneviève.
Yeah.
Yours? Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome for this presentation about capacity building in the circular economy in the CEnTOUR project. So before jumping into the result of the CEnTOUR project, it is important to know what has happened in the project and to know more about capacity building and solution development in the tourism sector. So why is a circular capacity building? Actually, circular economy implies having a different mindset. It implies to think differently and to move and shift from a linear take, make, and dispose economy system to a circular system where the resources are used efficiently. So it also implies moving from ownership to access and sharing, collaborating, and renting, for example, instead of only buying, owning, and dispose. It also implies focusing on design for durability and repair by prioritizing products that last longer in time, that can be repaired, instead of just be thrown away when they are not working anymore. And so instead of planned obsolescence. It also implies use the resources efficiently. So by extracting the maximum value of each product and seeing waste actually more as a potential resource to get back into the system as a circular system, instead of being just thrown away into the nature. It also implies collaboration and systemic thinking, which requires stakeholders to collaborate and think more holistically and think as a whole system and interconnection between actors and their ecosystem. So such a shift is not straightforward, it's not easy, and so it requires capacity building to get there. So what we have done in CEnTOUR was set up a program and circular journey, we have called it, actually to build knowledge, acquire new skills and competencies, learn from others, and create partnership and collaboration among the SMEs in the tourist sector. So therefore, there are 4 different steps on the journey. The first one is getting inspired, because of course, it's nice to know what the neighbors are doing to get more circular. And to get ideas and maybe adapt them in your own activities. Also learn to get the right resources and to know more and have the right knowledge about what is circularity in general, to be on the right track in this regard. Then also connect, of course, because it's nice to know you're not alone in this journey, and to exchange about the challenges that you may face, and therefore maybe find a solution together and share ideas and best practices among peers. And last but not least, also get equipped to have the right tools and methodologies to apply these principles into your own activities. So these steps have been followed through the program through top-down and bottom-up strategies. So first, the top-down capacity building resources. To get inspired, we have collected many best practices in Europe and abroad, and gather them into an online freely available database to get ideas about specific topics in the circularity. We have also organized several webinars and conferences about specific topics to share insight and success stories of others and tools that are possible to apply in the strategies. And also there has been a study tour in Amsterdam for the SMEs so they can see how circularity works in reality and that is possible, you know, in practicality. So for the Learn, we have set up free online also e-learning modules about various topics and to take the SMEs on the circularity journey. We have wrote free handbooks as well, and articles and documentation that are all available freely online on the website. We also have created a community of practice through a forum, different groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, and to foster peer learning between the participants and others. So that they could discuss their challenges and difficulties and find a solution together also. We have also, of course, trained local facilitator in order to guide and support the SMEs on locally, and so to help them guide and support individual and teams. As for the bottom-up capacity building resources, of course, it was important to know where to start and to assess what the initial state of their knowledge about sustainability and circularity was. So we have made a gap assessment and also a need assessment to know what they would need and what they expected from the program, what they want, where they wanted to go in circularity. There has been 1 to 2 coach assigned for one country locally to provide guidance and support to the group of companies. It enables them also to lift the language barriers that can appear, and also they have a better understanding of all the local specificity of each country to be able to find local and specific solutions. So we have trained, like I said, the local facilitators to be able to give them also different tools and in order to help them make an individual action plan so that they could apply it in their activities. We have also promoted collaboration and exchange between the participants, which was the goal also of the projects. So all the SMEs locally could exchange about their own issues locally and find solutions together. And once they had their individual action plan, it was also important to build a community and brainstorm about their common strategies in order to together to collaborate and find also strategies together to take up the common challenges through a brainstorming sessions. So throughout the program, we have focused on specific topics. So energy management, water management, food waste, plastic management, collaborative consumption, and label and eco certification. Some SMEs could choose one of the topics or all of them if they were interested in all of them. It's possible. Therefore, to focus on one of these or all of these strategies to apply in their own establishment. So for the future, it's actually important to promote local and circular economic communities, not only for a sustainable environment, of course, but also to promote a thriving local economy, because by adopting circular principles, you can stimulate local entrepreneurship, local sourcing, collaboration, and sharing on the place. It also promotes the destination competitiveness, because through circular principle, you can attract tourists that are more conscious of the environmental issues and to align what they are looking for with their values. So therefore, the role of destination-based facilitators within the regional tourism office is essential to actually continue knowledge sharing, collaboration, and networking in the industry and the local industry. At a larger scale, it is important also to foster cross-national collaboration between these local facilitators, also for knowledge sharing best practices across the whole Europe. So, thank you. I hope I've been clear.
Thank you very much, Genevieve, and thank you for all your hard work in training the facilitators as well. We have a tight agenda, but I still ask the speakers to join us at the table so we can be all here. So I invite Valentina Castellani. She is a circular economy expert, and she was a facilitator that worked across the countries, the 5 countries of the projects, specifically on eco-label and certifications. Thank you very much. This is yours. And I ask also Antti Panagiotou and Andrea Mosconi to join us at the table.
Thank you, Elena, and I'm really glad to be here today for this closing conference of this interesting project. As all of you may know, my task was to somehow coordinate the work on, especially on the EU eco-label certification in the 5 project countries. And today I would like to give you an overview of what we did and which are the main take-home messages that we keep from the project. So why eco-label? The EU eco-label has been identified as one of the tools that can be used to promote and to communicate the circular economy actions implemented by the SMEs that were participating to the project. So that's why there were 2 main work packages in which the CEnTOUR actions about eco-label were in. The first one was the work package 2, capacity building, because in our perspective, the first need was to make partners and participating SMEs aware of what the EU eco-label is and what can be done with this tool. That is one of the tools that you can use, of course, to communicate and to improve circularity in your business. And the second one was work package 4, that was about implementation, evaluation, and adaptation, because one of the goals of the project was to really support the companies to go through the certification and possibly to obtain the certification before the end of the project. So basically, the aims of these actions were to inform the SMEs about the EU Ecolabel certification, and to inform, I mean, how it works, how to obtain the certification, which are the steps, which are the possibilities to use it as a marketing instrument in case you already have some sustainability actions in place in your accommodation service. The second aim was to help the SMEs to understand if this instrument could be applied to their business, because we know it's not easy sometimes if you are starting thinking about circular economy and sustainability. Maybe it's a bit too early for this kind of instrument, but we wanted to make all of them aware of what can be done also in the future. And finally, to support the SMEs that decided to candidate their business for certification. And currently we have 3 from Italy applying for certification and hopefully obtaining the certification before the end of the project. So in practice, which were the actions? We started with some online informative session about the EU Ecolabel certification scheme. So again, potential benefits, main topic addressed by the mandatory and optional criteria, which are the steps to obtain certification, again, with the aim of spreading the information. This information is published on the European Commission website, but if you don't know that the instrument is existing, it's very difficult to access this kind of information. So we wanted to act as really facilitators to facilitate, let's say, at the beginning, at least the knowledge of the tool, of the instrument. Then we went a bit further with a certification feasibility assessment for the SMEs that declared they're interested in this kind of certification. So we started going through the criteria, trying to understand what really they means, what they have to do to comply with the mandatory and optional criteria. And this feasibility assessment included also the identification of links with other CEnTOUR project actions. So Geneviève showed you all the extensive training actions that were done in the CEnTOUR project. This can be a part. This is one of the criteria of the mandatory criteria. So you have to train your employees and the manager of the tourism service business about all these topics. This was already done in the project, so the companies would benefit of having it already, let's say, certified by the participation of the to the project. And in parallel, also all the monitoring that was done with the help of also the local facilitators to understand which are the hotspots in terms of environmental impacts in each business and what can be done to improve them. And these are basically based on the same topics that are the key topics of the mandatory and optional criteria in the Ecolabel scheme. Then what we did was to support companies that were willing, trying, that wanted to go on with the application dossier. And when I say support, I mean support from my side as a transnational facilitator, but also support, economic support to the voucher that could be spent for project activities. So some of the companies decided to use the money to pay for a consultant to support them in the preparation of the dossier and to go on with the to candidate their activity for certification. Then another important action that I deem important, at least, is it was the discussion among the project participants on feasibility, opportunities and challenges in each country participating to the project. And we know that each country has a different situation. For example, in some countries, there is no national contact point. This is a strong barrier to the application. But through our excellent national facilitators, we try to overcome this. So this was part part of the actions. I'm showing here what I still call intermediate results because we are not really at the end. We are still waiting for the 3 companies from Italy to obtain certification, but we are really proud to say that around 30 SMEs declare interest about eco-label. They participated to the online session, informative sessions with questions, and not only general questions, but specific questions on how to apply the instrument to their business. More active participation to the feasibility assessment phase was from North Macedonia, Moldova, and Italy. And I will also say again, thank you to the facilitators that really facilitate this participation. Our understanding is that at least half of these SMEs participating, so around 15, were already able to satisfy the mandatory criteria and had a sufficient score for optional ones. So they could, in principle, obtain the certification. Of course, there is the need of an additional step, that is the preparation of the dossier. And again, not having a national contact point may hinder this participation, but I don't think it's really a real barrier. It's something that can be overcome now or in the future. We are happy to know that they now have a better knowledge of the instrument, have a better knowledge on how they position toward the goal. And so I think this is a good outcome of the project. An even better outcome is that 3 of them from Italy are currently working at the preparation of the application dossier. So probably we will have them certified by the end of the summer. Just in summary, the main take-home messages that we keep from this experience is, again, the importance of having a national contact point. That means also having someone answering to questions in the preparation of the dossier, having documents translated in a national language, because for some companies, English was a bit a barrier. And again, here, the role of national circular economy facilitator was really key, not only as really a translator or technical support, but also as a personal interaction with the companies, because they knew the companies. I know that Tatiana went there one by one, visiting them, Gogo also. So this was really a key point of the project. We know that the current international situation with all the crises that were mentioned yesterday may influence the decision, including the cost of certification, the cost for implementing actions needed to satisfy the criteria. For example, if you need to buy a new boiler because the one that you have is too old and doesn't comply with the criteria, this can be an important investment. But on the other side, we know that being in a funded project helps to reduce the cost through the direct support within the project, or funding of expert support through the vouchers, funding of improvement actions. So again, this could be a good opportunity. And as a closing remark, I would say discussion and cooperation among the SMEs may help to find common solution. And I think this is really one of the key points of this kind of cooperation projects. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much to Valentina Castellani. We proceed very quickly and ask Antti Panagiotou to join us. She is a project manager at the Xanthi Chamber of Commerce and partner in CEnTOUR. Thank you.
So good morning to everyone. It's always a pleasure to see the familiar faces, our partners that we actually work together for 3 years now. What actually I would like to say before my presentation is the establishment of transnational cooperation for circular economy is not easy hypothesis. It is very, very difficult. We have to face many obstacles and barriers according to this. But maybe it's also an opportunity for the continuation of our work, what actually we have done until today. We know now how to work with SMEs, how to give them support, what are the problems actually, and what are the challenges that they are facing. So let's say hope the continuation of CEnTOUR, to have the opportunity to work for CEnTOUR too, maybe. And so to see and to provide to our societies and especially to the local economies and outside of that, maybe our borders, these benefits for using any kind of activity through circular economy. So we are talking about a cross-sectoral partnership, let's say, focusing on circular economy, which is an economic system that aims to eliminate waste and promote the continual use of resources by keeping materials and products in use for as long as possible. This requires a fundamental shift in the way we produce, consume, and dispose our goods and services. One way to accelerate this shift is through cross-sectoral partnerships. What actually we have to deal, we have to work is with governmental collaboration, academia collaboration, and of course the civil society, and to establish our common goals and synergies. To identify opportunities for resource efficiency, waste reduction, and product innovation, as well as address the systematic barriers that prevent the transition to this system. The World Business Council for Sustainable Development has launched a circular economy program that brings together leading companies to share best practices and collaborate on circular economy initiatives. Also, the European Union Circular Economy Package includes a number of cross-sectoral partnerships, such as the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform and the Circular Plastic Alliance. This partnership aims to bring together stakeholders from across the value chain to promote circular economy practices and innovation. The Amsterdam metropolitan area has launched a circular innovation program that involves collaboration between the city government, business, and knowledge, of course, institutions. The program aims to develop circular solutions for urban challenges, such as waste reduction and resource efficiency. Overall, what actually we need for cross-sectoral partnership are essential for accelerating the transition to the circular economy, bringing together again the stakeholders from different sectors. We can identify opportunities for resource efficiency, waste reduction, and innovation, and work together to overcome the systemic barriers that prevent us from achieving this kind of model and solutions. Barriers that prevent the transition to this system and to work much more transnational. The linear business model, that current economic system is based on the linear model of production, consumption, and disposal. This means that products are designed to be used and then thrown away rather than being reused or recycled. This linear model is a significant barrier to the transition to a circular economy. The lack of incentives, of course, many companies are not incentivized to transition to a circular economy because there are a few financial benefits in doing so. Governments can play a role in addressing these barriers by providing incentives such as tax breaks or subsidies to companies that adopt circular economy practices. The limited infrastructure that we are facing all the time. The transition requires new infrastructure to support the collection, sorting, and processing of waste materials. However, this infrastructure is often lacking or inadequate, particularly in developing countries. Governments and industry needs to invest in new infrastructure and support this model of circular economy. About the consumer behavior, which is a significant barrier to the transition to a circular economy, many consumers are not aware of the impact of their consumption patterns on the environment and are not willing to change this kind of behavior. Companies and governments can address this barrier by educating consumers about the benefits of a circular economy and by promoting more sustainable consumption patterns. And of course, the regularity barriers, regulation and policies can act as a barrier. And For example, regulations that prohibit the use of certain materials or products can prevent the development of circular business models. Government needs to create regulatory frameworks that support the transition to a circular economy, actually to know what we produce, consume, and of course, what kind of goods we dispose to the market and what kind of services we provide. How can actually develop cross-border partnership? Developing cross-border partnership for circular economy requires a collaborative approach that involves stakeholders from different sectors working together to promote circular economy principles. We have to identify the stakeholders. The first step is to identify stakeholders who are interested in promoting circular economy principles. And these stakeholders can be, of course, the business sector, the government agency, non-governmental organizations, academic institutions, and of course, the community groups. We have to define the purpose and goal of our partnership. Once stakeholders have been identified, it is important to define the purpose and goals of the partnership. This should be a collaborative process that involves all stakeholders and ensure that everyone is aligned on the vision and objective of the partnership. The goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Foster trust and collaboration. Collaborative culture is essential for the success of any partnership. This can be achieved through regular meetings, joint projects, and other activities, and help to build relationships and establish common groups. Identify opportunities for collaboration. Once the purpose and goals of the partnership have been established, stakeholders should identify specific opportunities for collaboration. This could include joint research projects, series of best practices, joint advocacy efforts, and joint investment in circular economy initiatives. Allocate resources, developing cross-sectoral partnership, required resources, including time, money, and expertise. It is important to allocate these resources fairly and transparently to ensure that all stakeholders are able to contribute and benefit for the partnership. Measure and evaluate the partnership. Measuring and evaluate the partnership is important to assess its effectiveness and identify areas for improvement. Regular evaluation and feedback sessions can help to ensure that the partnership is achieving its goals and that all stakeholders are satisfied with the outcomes. Overall, developing cross-sectoral partnerships for circular economy requires a collaborative and inclusive approach that involves all stakeholders. By working together, stakeholders can identify the shared goals, leverage their strength and resource, and achieve more than they could do on their own. Some key aspects and benefits are the knowledge and expertise which actually can share between all of us, the know-how and all we learned these 3 years now. The resource optimization by pooling resources such as research facilities, funding and infrastructures, cross-sectoral partnerships can support the development and scaling of circular business models. This optimization can lead to reduce cost, increase efficiency and improve competitiveness. Policy development and advocacy. Partnerships involving government bodies, business and civil societies. Organization can influence policy formulation and create an enabling environment for the circular economy. They can collectively advocate for supporting regulations, incentives and standards that promote circularity and address barriers to implementation. And of course, the supply chain collaboration. Cross-sectoral partnership facilitate collaboration along the entire supply chain by engaging stakeholders from raw material suppliers to products manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and consumers. This partnership can identify opportunities to optimize material flows, reduce waste, and improve product design for circularity. Innovation, of course, and research. Collaboration between academia, research institution, and business fosters innovation in materials, technologies, and business actual models. This collaboration can lead to the development of new products, services and process that promote resource efficiency, waste reduction, and the recycling of repurposing of materials. Stakeholders engagement and awareness. Cross-sectoral partnership provide a platform for engaging stakeholders and raise an awareness about the benefits of the circular economy through joint initiatives, education campaigns, and public-private partnership. This collaboration can promote behavioral changes and consumer choices that support circular economy practices and scalability and impact by leveraging the strength and resource of multiple sectors. Cross-sectoral partnerships can achieve greater scalability and impact. They can accelerate the adoption of circular economy practices and contribute to the transitions towards a more sustainable and circular economy on a broader scale. Overall, cross-border circular partnerships for the circular economy are essential for driving systematic change and achieving the goals of sustainability. So we need to can help and create more circular partnership. We need to promote in collaboration, knowledge, to share the knowledge, innovation, of course, and the engagement of the stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Antti. This is cross-sectoral partnership are surely one of the most long-term objectives for our project. Now I invite Andrea Mosconi, is the project officer at the Marche Chamber of Commerce, our lead partner, and he will summarize the challenges we had and achievements and future opportunities.
Very good morning to everybody. As a lead partner, my role is to try to make a resume of this project after 3 years. And in 5-10 minutes, it's not easy. So let's try to do this. For those who are not partner, I just want to remind that CEnTOUR means circular economy in tourism. Is a project that has 3 years duration and a considerable budget, 10 partners from 7 countries. In 5 of these countries, we had a program of selection of companies, and the main objective was to foster the diffusion of and adoption of circular economy practices in the aim and the topic of the circular economy. So we have selected 68 enterprises in these 5 European regions with the aim to support them in to build an approach toward the circular economy, financing them also with a voucher. Since we have we don't have so much time, I go quickly through the objective just to remind that the main objective of the project was to strengthen skills and knowledge transfer through a series of activities, and Genevieve has reminded us all the activities that we have produced in these years, especially in the first part when we were obliged to work only virtually because we couldn't move, and also the idea of tourism during the pandemic emergency was hard to imagine the future of the tourism. The second main objective was to carry out technical support activities for the incubation, acceleration, and growth of these small companies in tourism, with a brainstorming phase. That was the value added, the main added value in this phase. And then to create a stable network of institutions that can collaborate with the partners and with companies and promote the exchange of good practice and results. And that's one of the main objectives of the project, European project. So the roadmap in these 3 years, almost 3 years, we have 3 months in front of us, and This month, I announced to the partner that it will be very tough, very complicated. So my presence will be more frequent than before, even if I have frequent contacts with a lot of you. So, but our job will be more intense in the last period because we have to go through the end of the work with companies and starting with the reporting phase that will be closing 60 days after the end. So we don't have so much time. But the roadmap until now was built on a series of phases, the development capacity building tools, the training of the facilitators, the selection process of the companies, and I think that we learned a lot of things about the small companies in tourism in terms of the approach toward the sustainability and the circular economy. The training modules for these companies at national level or international for specific topics, thanks to Valentina about the certification, face-to-face actions led by the facilitators, also using these third parties of financial support. And here I think that we have created something very important also for the future. And then networking, cross-sector strategies and best practice sharing. Well, we had a target of 68 companies divided in different ways according to the countries. We have selected we didn't reach the target since the beginning. It was difficult to find companies in that period, in a period where at the end of the pandemic emergency. So companies were thinking about a traditional recovery from the crisis, and so the group of candidates was really narrow, but it was made of owners or managers really engaged on the topic. So I think that we have found companies that they are not only aware of the opportunity, of the problem and of the opportunity connected to the circular economy, but they were already ready to work. So a good small group of companies, unfortunately, we have lost some of them during the action period. So I suppose that more or less 60 companies, maybe 61, 62, will arrive till the end of the process. It's not the target. I think that we will be out under the target. But considering the difficulties that we have faced, the challenges, big challenges, I think that we could be satisfied about our job. Well, the challenges I was talking about this. First of all, the creation of a common background concerning the circular economy approach. Our countries are very different, not only in terms of economic development, but also in terms of the idea of tourism. The creation of this common background was really important if we wanted to create a group, a team among partners and among companies. To enhance the awareness of the opportunities linked to the circular economy in 5 regions that have been selected because they were and are not known as the best destination. For example, Italian region Marche is not famous as Tuscany, or Cantabria is not the region of Madrid or Barcelona. Then this was one of the criteria, I suppose, that attracted more the managing authority, because these territories were good to test new paths. The capacity building process faces some obstacles to the fact of that the group was made of really small companies, familiar companies. The Italian companies, for example, from Italian side, there are 2 hotels that are part of a chain, but the other 15 are familiar companies. So it's not easy also to create the right space for the training for experimentation if you are alone to manage the company. The high seasonality of the sector made difficult to manage a regular flow of activities, especially in the period from May to October, from June to October, and regional cross-sector strategy are useful but not easy to define and to apply. The achievements, so I've talked about the number of companies, more than 60 small, medium enterprises have been part of the project from the beginning till now, and we suppose that we'll go to the end and can be reported as a success for us. Italian and Greek companies decide to use the financial support to think, most of all, to think in a different way their energy consumption approach. Water consumption reduction has been a second major objective. Instead, I've seen that Moldova and North Macedonian companies have adopted the action plan where the food waste and energy consumption reduction were the main reason to use the financial support given by the managing authority. The strategy chosen by companies is often made of a blend of different aspects. So they are not focused only on one topic, but they try to create a more global approach. Obviously, it depends on the type, dimension, the company itself, or the previous experience, if they are part of a market niche or not. We had also tour operators. We had 5 tour operators in Italy and also in Moldova. I remember there are some tour operators. They have different needs. So we learned that accommodation and tour operators have different ideas about the approach. Tour operators can work on their own structure, but also on the destination that they propose. So they must be involved in a different way. And so, but the achievement is that we have learned that there is a market for this approach, small but growing. We are not Netherlands, as we have seen in Amsterdam in October. But we can do something to be to become more near as possible to Amsterdam. The opportunities, so CEnTOUR might be considered by each member of the partnership as a starting point. For us, for the Chamber of Commerce, could be this starting point, and we can think also to a bigger engagement in terms of circular economy or sustainability oriented activities. Ms. Lucia Mazarova today talked about the next call for proposal about I've written the topic, provide direct and indirect support to small companies in terms of financial support and also of consultative support. And I think that this group has a lot of things to tell to companies now after 3 years. Because thanks to this project, I think that each partner, each member of this partnership has a method, specific innovative tools, thanks to the work made by ECORES at the beginning, knowledge and skills, and thanks to the facilitators, also a role that is well visible among the companies and the stakeholders of the territory. So we had we made an experience that can be considered as important also from all the stakeholders that are around us. The selected companies could be sort of elite in the territories, I hope, but could be also in this sense a point of reference for the other small companies. Often the companies that have been part of the program have learned how to move through the financial support mechanism linked to the public funds, becoming able to discover and catch other kind of funds. So some Italian companies are doing this. So I think that the opportunities for the future are interesting, and I don't want to say that we can repeat the experience, but we can think also starting from today to think is the next call for proposal that is expected in some weeks, I suppose, could be interesting for us. So thanks for your attention, but I would like to say thanks for your support during these 32 months for the moment, but I would like to say thank to all of you because I think that the team is beautiful, and we have seen it yesterday during the dinner. So we are all. Ho sbagliato, non devo chiudere. Non devo chiudere, vero?
Thank you very much. Thank you to Andrea and to the coordinator. We have tried to give a summary of the project results and main aspects, and now we can go a bit further with the testimonials, like live SMEs and facilitator. We talk in the second session, and I invite Erwan Moazan from Ecorest team that will moderate the session. Thank you to all the panelists, and we can now invite the next ones. Thank you very much.
Silvio Cardinali, Maria Verding, Maya, and Eleni.
Yes, thank you. So we'll move to this second session. We've had quite a large zoomed out approach in the first session, where we got the big idea of the challenges, the opportunities, some of the results, some of the approach we try to develop through capacity building. So in this session, we're going to try to zoom in a bit more into, how actually the facilitators have been concretely doing their job in their specific regions. So Tatiana will start, I think, first with explaining us what she's been doing in Moldova. Georgie also will be talking about his approach in North Macedonia, and Silvio Cardinali will be supported by Anna Laura online, also in explaining what they've been doing in Italy with their specific SMEs. So first we'll talk about the experiences from the facilitators, and in the second part of this session we'll have the chance to get hands-on feedback about what happens with the SMEs. So Maria, Benzing, Maya, and Eleni will be able to tell us a little bit more about how they perceive this coaching, what has been difficult, what has been really enlightening, new ideas coming up, etc., etc. But we have a short time, so let's get rolling. Tatiana, maybe if you want to take the floor, because I know you have a short presentation, so slides and visuals to let us know what has happened concretely.
Thank you very much, Erwan. Yes. So first of all, I will take the opportunity to introduce my team, because we came, all of us, from Moldova. And I would say that the project manager, Silvia Kanja, she's a very good, also friend, as we said, and co-worker. And Alexei, the financial manager. Anna is project assistant, and she was really involved and responsible for the visibility and communication about our work. And Maria, she is our beneficiary, and we will talk a bit later. Okay. Yes. And I am Tatiana Kiriak, a circular economy facilitator. These are the results. As we planned to achieve and we realized is that 14 companies were selected and they were trained, and we also coached them. During the training sessions, we used the presentations, the information that our experts gave to us, and it was really useful because also we faced the pandemic period when we were very involved to engage them to come online and to work on different online platforms. And also I think for them also was very useful to know many other digital platforms that they can use for their teams, for the staff to work with. Okay, then 14 SMEs were assessed. The needs assessment, that the questionnaire that we created, we asked all of them to go through this questionnaire, and at the end we assessed them and we saw what are the needs, and furthermore I will explain what are the ratios on each compartment. And then 10 SMEs were evaluated with the eco label, because when they applied for the project, they first of all they were really interested what means eco label first of all, and what are the requirements to say to become certified. And yes, we worked individually. We had 10 face-to-face meetings with them, and we went through this application form. It's really complex, but at the end we understood that yes, let's say 60-70% of the questionnaire is already implemented by them, which means they need to work a bit more and then to become certified. Okay, 14 SMEs were coached because we worked on the innovation strategies. And innovation strategies, it was like a presentation of their business plan, of their next steps, what they want to improve. In the innovation strategies, they also included the procurement, let's say, of the equipments or some appliances that they need to develop more, but we focused us based on our financial support, because our financial support was it is a bit limited, like 4,000 euros, which means that we were focused only most of them on the services. So for now, it's only 12 SMEs were financed because we missed 2 of them that they need to be financed by the Spain partner. But yes, we will solve this. Okay. So these are the results about the needs assessment questionnaire. I would say that as we see from diagram, most of them, they are looking for the collaborative consumption. It's around 12%. And then local network. This, I would say, this was really a very good impact. Or thanks to this project, they started to see each other, to work between them, and to sign these partnerships. How to collect, for example, the plastic waste or the food waste for composting. And yeah, this was really a good result of this project. And about the eco-label pre-assessment, as I said, some of them, they achieved the 89 points based on the application for the eco-label. Others are 39, which means that with some of them, they implemented they reduce the consumption of the energy. They bought a lot of sensors, LED bulbs, for example, and also they have many cards inside the rooms that they inform the guests to reduce the consumption. About the heating system, for example, many, I mean, the company, let's say, I'm talking about the company that got 89 points. This company also has some thermostatic appliances that they maintain the right temperature. Like based on the application, they should maintain 22 degrees in winter or summertime. So which means this company is already maintaining this temperature. The other one, the 39, for example, the lowest one is a small company that let's say they don't apply these measures, and they have to work a lot on to become more sustainable. Okay, about the innovation strategies, we identified that the key factors in innovation strategy is about capacity building, food management, renewable energy, and water management. These are in this sector, tourism sector, are most important. And about the capacity building, of course, companies were looking how to train their staff, how to work with local farmers, how to communicate more and more about the sustainable tourism, which means that to reduce the main source of to reduce the consumptions of main source of energy and water. Food management. Some of the companies decided to hire or subcontract chief in the kitchen, chef. And they review the menu, they reduce the portions, they reduce the food waste finally. And they are really glad because thanks to this project, they understood that maybe something is wrong in the kitchen, so maybe they can reduce this food waste. And at the same time, they analyzed that how they can co-work with local farmers, which means they don't need to buy a lot and storage, and then everything is boiling. And so collect separately. Also, this was a point for them to understand that they need to train the staff from the kitchen. Okay, the renewable energy. About this point, there are 3 or 4 companies. They hired technicians, engineers, that they came around, they did the assessment where it's suitable to install the solar panels and to switch to renewable energy. And also they understood that it's good because once they produce this energy, they also can make some profit because they can export in the main channel of renewable energy at the national level. They can export. Water management. About the water management, they identified actually, because also thanks to the project, they understood that they need, when they go in the market, they are looking for eco-smart equipments. We are saying they are looking for sensors from the beginning to install new taps that they can reduce the consumption of the water. And also some of them, they already installed treatment or wastewater treatment, which means that they use the circular economy inside the company. Okay, and about the financial support distribution, as we analyzed, most of them, so 50% are going to the communication. I mean, they work with companies to design very well the message on the cards, on the billboards, on the, they have many informative materials in the room or in the common area. So they want more and more to send the message to the guests that they need to reduce the consumption. And to become more sustainable. 36% is they are working on partnerships. As is mentioned, the tour operator, so the one that we have in our group, also signed agreements with beneficiaries to work together so they can create small trips in the area, which means a company, a guest that is coming there, they can go on their website and see what is in the area that they can visit. And also video tour that will be promoted on their website. And maybe training also was included here. Okay, about the food waste, as I said, they signed the agreements with the local farmers. What is the quantity that they can provide during different seasons? The plastic, we have 1 or 2 companies that already our beneficiary will talk more about the plastic free, that they also connected together to sign an agreement with one company that will come in the area and to collect the quantity of the plastic that they have, so to recycle it. Yes, these are some pictures of our companies. I will go through. This is our restaurant. You see, it's a very nice one. This the beneficiary was Amsterdam. She's the one that will train people. The staff will train how to apply the sustainable tourism in their restaurant. These are some our beneficiaries. So because we sent a questionnaire for them to explain what was the impact of this project. So they also added some pictures. This is another beneficiary that was in Amsterdam. So after this, she understood that she will create a QR code menu as the guests will come, and maybe they will plan. For example, they booked the room, but they will come after 1 week. So it means during this week, they can go on this application and say what they want to have for dinner, breakfast, which means that they will do it at the moment, fresh when they come, and with the local products, seasonal products they will use. Yes, so it will be more digitalized. This is our beneficiary. She will talk later, and which is good that they are the company that want to reduce the plastic totally in the area. This is the one that was involved in the water treatment and water management mostly. This is the company that had 39 points for the eco label. And I said that, yes, you have to work more and more. And yes, he understood that he needs to connect with more companies and the wineries that they have in the local area. Okay, this is a company, the very interesting one, that they find another partner that came to their company and trained about the hotel management. So it's more complex overview about more efficient activities in the hotel. This is a tour operator. So he's the one that applied for the travel life subscription, and yes, he will train his staff how to work with the guides, because some of the guides are everywhere in the world, so they can go on their website, train themselves, and to promote what they saw there in the area, so they can attract other people to come in the area. About the communication network and visibility, these are the, let's say, actions. What we do till now is the website that we promoted a lot, our CEnTOUR project website, is the video reviews that we took all the time. You had trainings, at the end, what is your feedback? What is about your impression about the trainings or events? Webinars, we were invited them to many webinars. Community of best practices. Because we created a group, they communicate between them, and they come with questions and solutions between them. Also, the Facebook we promoted on LinkedIn, Twitter, and the stakeholder database is my colleague Anna. She's working really hard on this. We did an Excel file with the different compartments. And for example, if they are looking for marketing, what will be the partners that we can advise them? Or if they are looking for other water, we can advise them in different compartments. Okay, and yes, this is the end.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you so much.
I would suggest maybe Ana Laura, are you online with us? Maybe if you can start preparing your presentation, because I know you also have one.
You can hear me?
We can hear you, yeah. We cannot see you yet, but I guess.
You can see me?
Yes, now we can see you.
Okay, that's fine.
So if you want to share your screen.
Yes, I try to share my screen. You can see my screen?
Not yet, but it's coming, I believe.
You can see now?
Just one moment, it's coming.
Yes. You can see my screen.
So now you can just go into a presentation mode, and I think it will be ready to start. So just presentation mode.
Yeah. I'm trying to go. No.
If you can press F5, yeah. Yes, all right. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's great. So thank you to all for the opportunity to present this work, and thank you for the really interesting experience that we had during this project. Unfortunately, I had an overlapping with another European project, so I was not able to participate in person. I will try to give some feedback from our side, especially from the facilitator experience, and also to give, I will try to give you some results from our work. Well, first point is thank all the partner and also all the SME, and also Andrea Mosconi and the lead partner who coordinate the project. But also I would like to thank all the group of the facilitator, especially Giulia Cipolletta, Barbara, and Laura, who try to create a really strong community to support the SME during the coaching period. So our work was related to the coaching of 18 SME. This was the initial group was selected. As already Andrea introduced, we worked with the different type of SME. So this means it was a strong opportunity in terms of relation and capacity of discussion, because different type of SME means also different objective and different point of view. So it was obviously a strength in terms of formation of a community for circular economy discussion in the territory, but it was also a weakness from one point of view, according to the different final objective that the company has. So in terms of coaching, obviously, for example, the tour operator comparing to agritourism or small hotel have a different necessity. So in this direction, our work was really important, because was devoted to address the different necessity of the company. We decided to as most of you probably, to make the attendance of the course online for the COVID situation, and also for some logistic point. I just highlight in this slide that we use all the material that was provided from ECORES, was really useful for the coaching activity. But one important thing is that for the optional session, that we in the beginning, also during the preparation of the facilitator, we describe as the opportunity that each SME can decide to attend, maybe one or two different modules. At the end, all the SME attend all the courses. This is to highlight that the people were really interesting to understand also from technical point of view the different thing that can be developed in their situation, or they would like go in depth in each specific topic to acquire specific knowledge in the different aspect of the circular economy. So this was, from my point of view, a great goal of the coaching period, because means that the company was need more, because they probably need to acquire more information from different type of sector, but also are interesting to have this type of knowledge. So as in terms of material and methods, we use all the questionnaire that ECRES provide us, and yes, English is probably a great barrier for the company, for several of them, but okay, the translation work was really useful to support them in all the activity. And further, the material that ECRES provide, as an Italian facilitator, we reorganize also all the results that we acquired from the questionnaire in additional scheme to support the assessment, and also to give them some approach and some criteria to then identify the priority. So at the end, for each sector, we reorganize the semi-qualitative and quantitative data in a sort of summary scheme, where also the number from literature review, from best practice, or from EMAS detail were identified in order to evaluate one point of arrival of the final results. Also, we provide them the data for eco-label acquisition. This point, so the acquisition of quantitative data and the measurement of them, also in almost normalized approach, was an important issue of all this project, because several times the SME maybe does not know exactly where they have to take information about water consumption or energy or waste. So there was an important work related with assessment of the actual situation of the SME for all the sector, and they work a lot to take this data and to understand where they have to go, but also where they are actually now. So with this big work, we were able, I just here report some example of the tool that and of the scheme that we prepare for several of them to define the distribution, for example, of the energy consumption in the different zone of the accommodation structure, or for example, the waste sector, also comparing to the best practice of the literature. And also we learn and we teach, and they learn about the use of the EcoScan. That could be an interesting, easy approach to monitoring the circularity and of their work in the time. So this final technical assessment was included in the final strategy for several SME. And after the coaching phase and after the briefing, mainly the strategy of the Italian SME was directed to and address to evaluate possible solution, especially for sustainable technology, for energy, for plastic, and for water. So for more than 70% of the cases, they are addressed in this direction. That then means also probably more time to be developed, and also in terms of long period realization, a strong investment cost, but it's important that they address in a really clear way where they would like to improve their activity. For energy, especially the main topic were the renewable energy application, and also the optimization of the electric part or of the heating of the different accommodation. And for water, the main focus was about reuse of alternative sources, especially in the big accommodation site where they have a garden or similar. And for plastic, the reduction of the, in general, of use of plastic, or the substitution of plastic thing, as maybe with use of QR code or digital system. The other are company are more focused on marketing or capacity building. Three of them will go for eco-label certification. So we hope they will obtain them. And I think these results, it's also related with this strong work of assessment and of acquisition of quantitative data that the facilitators support. So the radio literature was summarized in one publication from our site. That is also another probably interesting results of this great project. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ana Laura. And maybe we move in a more oral way without presentation to North Macedonia, maybe, Georgie. Yes, Silvio, maybe you want to say something before, or we'll have a couple of questions, no worries, afterwards.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I just want to thank you all, especially the project partners, for this amazing journey. It's been very useful and active, almost 3 years. And I must say, I'm very proud that of the achievements that we have made during this project. We have come a far way. We have helped some SMEs in their journey towards innovative and circular strategies. But of course, these things takes time, and these things take efforts and take resources. So we have to be aware that some of them maybe are moving faster, some of them are moving more slower. But again, I think we've been achieving great results. Yes, our, let's say, role as national facilitators was to facilitate this process, to help actually the SMEs and the companies move towards more sustainable and circular approaches. And I think from the SMEs perspective, they will tell by themselves on this panel also, it's been very helpful, but also it's been very fruitful journey. In North Macedonia, we help 11 companies or 11 SMEs. The key areas that they needed more guidelines and strategic approach were actually food, water, energy, consumption, and capacity building, of course. But also some of the SMEs took the whole courses, reviewed all the materials, and were very heavily engaged in all the aspects of the project. So they're focusing on what the business currently needs or needs in the near future, but they also want to explore the opportunities when they want to go in the next 3 to 5 years. So this is also additional benefit for the project and the project partners, because this is a long-term game. If you have to click one box or to say, okay, I'm ready to work on this, you have to be ready to work on this constantly and have this focus in later stage also. Yeah, I think we as a facilitators help the companies also create this communication plan and strategy in evolving actually their target group, because ultimately the SMEs and the target group should be the end beneficiaries of this activity. So I think we also push them to communicate more clearly the circularity, the sustainability plans, what they're trying to do, and how their actions actually implement those activities, and how they can guide their customers or target groups be more aware of the circularity overall. Thanks.
Yeah, I think one learning also through discussions we've had with some of you facilitators is that some of your companies were actually doing a lot already of things without knowing it's circular or it's sustainable. And I think somehow throughout the project, you've been able to tell them actually when you start, sorting food waste and giving it to farmers for compost, this is already a circular action, but you should be able to communicate it and show that you're doing those things already. And I think this is something that somehow the project has helped them to understand that they were already, some of them, doing something pretty circular to begin with.
Yes, actually, that was pretty much the case in our country. Some of the startups, the SMEs were very ahead in what they're doing, but being unaware of the impact or the scale of their actions. So in our country, North Macedonia, actually the food sector, the food waste, SMEs had a very much advanced actions towards this kind of plan, but also they were very aware of the local grown food and products that they can actually sell it as a local products. So they're even producing some food on their own, contracting local supply chains, and actually impacting the local economy in that sense. So yeah, in some areas maybe. And it's about to the geography, it's about to the region and the country, of course. But in some cases, we see some actions that were more advanced in some aspects of the circularity, and actually they should be communicated actively.
All right, thank you. Shall we get some feedback, at least, or some witnessing some experience from the companies? I think here we have Maria, Maya, and Eleni. Maybe we can start with Maya, who's next to
Maya.
Yeah, Maya, maybe Maya, and then we can continue. So maybe you can let us know what's your context of your organization, hotel, and then. What did you learn? What did you get from that project concretely?
Yes, I'm Nutcheska. I'm coming from Macedonia, North Macedonia, I'm sorry. And we learned, thank you for the trip and for this organization. First, we learned a lot about when we got in the project. So we started we didn't know, but we were just sorting like plastic. We were sorting the garbage, and when we included in the project, we saw that we all already do the things the circular economy need to do. So we just move on. So we started to plastic we moved for good. We started to use the glasses more. We started to use canisters in the rooms. So we talked a little bit more with our customers. So they helped us a lot with it. And we started to use some products from the village that we are. And we are already doing it for a long time. So we just use that to cook our own dish, traditional dish in Macedonia. So for the guests of our hotels, we are giving them traditional dish Macedonian, who is made by us. So that's it. We are planning to make panels maybe for future years, but for the moment, we are using the
Electrical bulbs.
We are using the electrical bulbs.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, but you seem to be happy at least from the support you received from.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's my first time and I wasn't included in the project. It was by another gentleman. So I included in the project at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous.
No problem.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for your feedback.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
So maybe Maria from you can let us know a little bit about your experience. What did you get out of this project from your perspective?
I will speak in Romanian because my English is not so good. Tatiana will help me.
Yeah, sure.
Sunt de la pensiunea Casa de Muncă, care a fost fondată în 2002. Este o afacere de familie care se tot ține de vreo 20 de ani. O ținem împreună cu familia și tindem să o dezvoltăm, promovând...
Okay, I would say first of all, if you can connect the website, just to have a look of their business. So Maria is saying that they have a family business. They started with their family in 2002. Until now, they have around 20 people working there. It's some of them, they are like the family, they're permanent, and others are coming seasonal.
Încercăm să promovăm datorită faptului că ne aflăm într-o zonă istorică conservată de stat, încercăm să promovăm acest tip de business să facem cât mai ecologic, cât mai authentic.
Okay, so as they're working in the historical part, even the region that they are working in is included in UNESCO. And this is the fact that they want to keep this history and they want to make it very ecological environment.
Și deoarece am început această afacere singuri, am avut nevoie de ceva suport ca să fim ghidați cum am putea să aplicăm, ca să ne informăm.
Okay, because they started this business by themselves. They needed a help, a support of a vision, let's say, of how to develop this business more and more.
Datorită acestui proiect, beneficiind de acest proiect, am reușit să ne dezvoltăm foarte mult la nivel informațional și să obținem un aspect care foarte mult ne l-am dorit. Era vorba despre serviciul de proiectare pentru conectarea sistemului fotovoltaic și datorită faptului că am fost ghidați, noi am reușit și deja suntem pe ultima fază de implementare a acestui proiect și sperăm că în curând să avem rezultate frumoase de la el.
Okay, thanks to the project, CEnTOUR project, actually, they were looking for a long time ago how to switch to renewable energy. And thanks to this project, they already hired an expert, and the expert came in the area and did the assessment, and also the assessment, but also to the expertise, let's say, how to install the solar panels and switch to renewable energy.
Suntem în fază finală deja.
And they are the final phase already to be installed and to be connected for the guest house.
O altă mare un scop care de mult ne doream să-l atingem era, de fapt, era o problemă care persistă în localitatea noastră. Nu se selectează, nu se separă gunoiul, se selectează doar colectiv într-un mod și se aruncă într-un
it was a long time. They put it, I mean, they were collecting or putting the waste together, all of them together.
Datorită acestui proiect am reușit să contractăm o companie care va veni să ne preia gunoiul care deja noi îl selectăm, îl divizăm, da, după plastic, hârtie, sticlă, trimestrial și plus la toate am mai reușit să facem parteneriat și cu alte întreprinderi care se află în preajmă. Astfel va fi cumva salvată toată zona asta noastră de această mare problemă.
Okay, so Maria is saying that it was long time once they were putting the waste together. Now, thanks to the project, they understood that they will collect separately the paper, glass, and other waste and plastic. And they sign an agreement with a company that will come once in 3 months and collect this waste separately. And also they did some agreements with the local gas houses to create this, to collect separately the waste. And this will increase, which means that once they will do once in trimester, once in 3 months, the quantity will be higher and the delivery price will be lower. This will be like, I'm adding now, like an impact.
Un alt aspect care am reușit să-l atingem, deci era o problemă, noi am început să, deci fără multă instruire să lucrăm, da? Gătim bucate tradiționale și cumva aveam nevoie ca să echilibrăm dozele acestea care le servim, da? Per om, de multe ori aveam exces de mâncare și pentru noi, văzând această problemă, cumva am ajuns la concluzia că trebuie să facem să apelăm la serviciile unui bucătar experimentat care ne-ar ghida. Astfel, noi am reușit să reducem excesul de mâncare, de alimente și am reduce din pierderi.
Okay, so since now there were preparing traditional food, and many of, there were a lot high quantities of food waste. And then they realized that maybe they need to also, on the basis of this project, they will hire a chief that will come and create proper menu based of the local products and based of the seasonal products that they can collect from the local farmers. Ce mai spus?
Da, apropo de fermierii locali, procurând produse de la ei, noi am înțeles că tot putem reduce din risipă alimentară, dar și plasticul și ambalajul. Nu depozităm atâta că respectiv cumpărăm neambalat, și promovăm și pe ei.
Okay, a very good idea what they identified, that once they will use the local products, they will buy more often and they don't need a package for this. I mean, they reduce the plastic ambalage packages.
Yeah, plus promovăm și ajutăm și pe ei.
Yes, and at the same time, they help them, to make some income and also to promote their products, local fruits, local vegetables from the season.
Și în scopul tot veni vorba de economie circulară, în acest scop ne-au fost propuse servicii de proiectare a materialelor informaționale. Astfel, noi am reușit să creăm și să le punem în practică și au fost foarte bine acceptate de clienți. De fapt, la noi și vine tipul de clienți care vin, sunt familii, sunt oamenii care consum ecologic și da.
Okay, just one moment. So the idea is that based on the, thanks to the project, they created more informative materials, cards, that they send this message about how to reduce the resources, and also because their clients are more families, they know about them and they're coming with their friends. They selected their segment of the clients, which means that they are more oriented to healthy food.
Și chiar deja are un impact, că se stinge lumina la timp, nu se folosesc atât prosoapele, se economisește din apă și din timp și din muncă.
Okay. So they already realized that they have an impact on this because they understood that they use less water, and they reuse the towels. It's based on our basis. And what else? Towels.
Electricity.
Oh yeah, yes, they reduce the consumption of electricity because of the cards and the informative materials.
Da, și vrem să vă mulțumim pentru că am avut oportunitatea să beneficiem de acest minunat grant oferit de dumneavoastră. Noi suntem oamenii care nu vorbim mult, nu avem experiența să vorbim în public, dar încercăm să facem ceea ce și să învățăm din informația care vine către noi.
So thank you so much for this project because it helped with financial support first, and there are people that they are open to new information and new opportunities, and they are the people that they don't talk too much, but they do the things the right way.
Da, și vă așteptăm ca să vedeți rezultatele.
And you are welcome to come to see our results.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Finally, maybe Eleni, you can let us know a little bit about your experience of the project.
First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation and the hospitality here. I welcome you to Coquimelon Guest House. From the beginning of the creation of the Coquimelon, my orientation was sustainability. So when CEnTOUR appears, I took the opportunity to learn more about this and be a member of a group with common thinking. And of course, it was, I was already done some things, made some things that like solar panels and for free energy, or reduce the chemicals and reduce the plastics and all this. And further, when was in a CEnTOUR program. So my next plan, I already made the first step. It was to collect the rainwater for garden use. And I already finished this and will run this summer. And I'm glad that I was a member of this program, because I saw good practices. I saw people that care about the environment, and they wanted to share their these good practices. And I feel that in the future I'll be my best to keep this goal, yes, achieved. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we see really similar patterns among those three examples, at least really shared values about wanting to do something, doing something already, maybe not communicating it, but then learning that this is actually the right path to be more sustainable and more circular. So I think it's nice to see this kind of a mindset that is shared among those organizations, those hotels, those accommodations that are really trying to do something. So it's really one learning. I think the power of community as well, of getting together, having the right space to share those challenges, to brainstorm new ideas, to come up with new partnerships that no one would have thought about. Having the time actually to discuss those things is very important. Before we close the session, maybe one question for Silvio, since you've been coming here and I want you to still be involved and at least share some of your insights or experience. One discussion, so one thinking I'm having, at least at the end, towards the end of this project, is that what do you think we would need more, or what kind of funding for future year projects we would need to actually sort of institutionalize or structuralize this kind of facilitator network? Because what we've been doing so far is almost developing a new job, but I mean, this job should be sustained and developed further to make a real impact. So I don't know what your thought about that.
I just think that in this kind of world that is very complex, we cannot be alone. So when we start the project, I just give you one tips. It was 4 years ago in a small facility of the Chamber of Commerce of Marche region in Macerata with Elena, what we can do on circularity. And this is the question that I had a few years ago. When our brainstorming starting, the idea is, yes, probably many of the companies, we feel that many of the companies have the idea they must be more sustainable and circular. But the question is how to be. And starting from this feeling that we have, we started to development the project. Clearly, we start to collect also competencies all around the world to do that. And we decided that the voucher scheme and the facilitated approach was for us the best way just to keep the hand some smart company like that and try to push ahead. Clearly, Rome wasn't built in a day, so neither Chisinau and Skopje. And so we know that this is a small part of the long journey. And what is my thought is that we have to follow the Andrea suggestion. So CEnTOUR could not be stopped here. We need to try to find a new way to continue this. clearly also establish few. I think that the role of facilitator could be not transitory. I think that the facilitator must be, could be the kickoff of the project for somebody, could be in the middle of the development, and for the other could be the step further ahead. So I think that we can go in two main directions. The first one is start to develop in a more establishing professional profile like the facilitator. And in the second hand, try to follow the suggestion from Andrea and try to think together how to go ahead with this kind of project. Moreover, already suggested there is a lot of found for that, and we can go together with this very great group. Let me say thank you, especially to Maria, Maya, and Eleni. I don't know if you have the possibility to go in the website, but I will be very happy to be hosted in your facility because the website looks very good, and also your approach to also sustainability and circular economy too. Thank you so much. That's from my side.
And I thank the three facilitators, Anna Laura online still, and yeah, indeed the three companies that took the time to explain what they've been doing. The session is getting to a close. I think, should we have a little break, 5 minutes break before we run to the next and final session?
Yeah. No, we are okay. Let's have the audience vote. Please stay for a little longer. So we have the final session with our external experts, and you can, if you're really tired, you can have a coffee outside. No worries, but yeah. Jose Tomas is about to come, just a little break, and then we'll have two online. So, Irina, okay, we just have a little change in the order of the speakers. So Virginia Fernandez Trapa will be the last one, least but not last, so we start with Irina Kozma. She's from the EU strategy for the Danube region coordination team, the Directorate of General Regional Development Infrastructure and Ministry of Development for Public Works and Administration. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'll leave you the floor.
It's perfect. I look what no, it doesn't work with this. Okay. No, it's perfect. Thank you. So
Nice to meet you. Thank you for the invitation. It's wonderful to see people face to face. I don't say online it's not good, but in this moment, it's for me, for example, it's too much. I don't know for you, but for me, online meeting, it's already too much. So it's time to come back to the reality. So my name is Irina Cosma. I'm coming from Romania. Together with our colleague from Ministry of Tourism from Bulgaria, we coordinate the priority area 3, which is in charge with culture, tourism, and people-to-people contacts in the lovely Danube strategy. The ESDR or Danube strategy have some members, which is common with EUCR or Adriatic Ionian strategy. So we are work very closely with the EUCR. In this respect, we are here because in each, let's say, event, even it's online or on-site, we decided, we like a priority area 3, we decided to have a component, spatial slot, which is dedicated to macro-regional, regional, or some important projects for the other macro-regional strategy or other region. So for us, of course, tourism is very important, and related to this, the circular economy, of course, is very important. But I will present a little bit what we do, like priority area 3. You have also in the EUCR task group 4, which is related with tourism and sustainability in tourism. So we try to facilitate for our members, state members and the stakeholders to facilitate ideas, best practice projects, project results, and why not to increase, first of all, the cooperation and collaboration between the regions. This is very important for these macro-regional strategies. So we change it at the level of Danube strategy. We changed the action plan 2 years ago. You are in full process in the EUCR. So in this respect, we try to, together with our state member, we try to define another, let's say, new aims. So I put here, I will closely go. And for this, for us, the new action plan, we choose it only 6 action, which is very important for related to culture, tourism, and people-to-people contacts. And so, as you see, we want to promote sustainable tourism in the region, to promote cultural tourism, and for us, regarding to cultural tourism, it's very important to better sustain cultural roots. I say this, you'll see after why it's very important cultural roots for us. So together with our member states, we go further and we choose 3 strategic topics, which is very important because we try to promote this to all the calls in all the member states and all the projects to take count about this. So we have here promoting sustainable tourism in the Danube region and capitalize on EUCR projects in the area of culture, nature, and tourism. So for us, also it's very important creative industry, innovation, and intersectorial specialization. And we support a lot the, I want to refer to circular tourism. So last year we have a big process, and we choose it like you have also in EUCR. We have a flagship. So flagship can be initiative or a process. So like initiative, we have a very interesting Danube small project fund, which is from Baden-Württemberg. They give a little amount of money for some artists around Europe. And all the project will have this certificate during 1 year. And as I say before, it's very important for us to sustain the cultural roots, because through cultural roots, you have culture, you have tourism, and you have also people-to-people contacts. So I put here how we give this certificate. And we identify a very and many various challenges in our priority area. We have a big consultation with the stakeholders, and we identify it's better to work on the decentralization, financial support, and cooperation. And we identify a roadmap, what we want to follow. I close quickly. And now we are in the, I close quickly the page of the presentation. We are now in the full process. We start a new project, which is PE3 close project. It's not about the closing, it's about the recovery through culture, tourism, and people-to-people contacts in the Danube region. And in this respect, we are very interested in the very big terms, how culture and tourism can be vectors for regional development in all member states. So we'll try to find a very important how urban regeneration can intervention can be vectors also for regional development. We try to have a policy on sustainable tourism, and also a policy on the recovery of tourism and culture. So we have a steering group, all the time decided in the steering group. We have also a platform of stakeholders. We are very happy if you want to go on this, to be members of this platform. For us, the project that our colleague from Moldova presents now, it's very important. And I try to be very sincere. I never know about this project, even we are related with culture and tourism. So for us, this kind of event that to organize in this project, it's very, very important, because we see a lot of good projects, a lot of good experience, best practice. And also we will try to invite and to involve in our stakeholders platform, because you never know what you can develop. So our next activity, I told you about policy initiative. So here related with your important project, I want to mention also a very big project who was developed in the Danube region, which is the name of ECO. You see the country here. We have now a transnational strategy to accelerate transition towards a circular economy as a result of this project. And the name is Danube Goes Circular. So when you will send the material, I will give also this. I put some words about this project, Moveco, also the link, because it's very important for you also to see there. And what we, this is our website. What we tend to do is to create a platform, and in this platform to have some special category, and one of this category to be circular economy in the tourism, and there to have dedicated stakeholders and projects and best practice and ideas in order to collaborate. Why not? And also we'll try to promote this process of circular economy like a flagship this year inside of Danube, because it's a process, and you never know where you can articulate best ideas of best practice or a project. So we'll send you all the information. We'll be happy to to have in our stakeholders platform, and also what you need from ESDR related with culture, tourism, and people-to-people contacts, or other contacts related to the other priority areas, please don't hesitate to ask us, and we will be happy to help you. And I continue to be here to share best practice with you and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Katma. Yeah, it's very interesting to have this high-level overview and of strategies and putting in contact also what's done on the ground and finding synergies and ideas. And we go now from the Danube region to the Adriatic Union. We are really, really happy to have the president of the Forum of the Adriatic Union Chambers of Commerce, Jorge Thomas. You can come here if you want to.
I can stay if you don't mind from here.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah.
Is not only president of the forum, is also partner in the European Tourism Going Green project, which is another tour project. So we have a lot of exchanges and information that we can get. Thank you very much. If the floor is.
Thank you, Elena. So as you already mentioned, so we are in Adriatic Ionian region are so interested in sustainable tourism and not only in tourism, in sustainable businesses at all. So as she mentioned, we just finishing the project, which is the European Tourism Going Green 2030, which is finished in May, and we have the last conference in Vienna, and it was a great success, not only for Croatia and our companies, it was for all 7 countries, which is including Italy, Austria, Germany, Bulgaria. So it was really interesting project. So in that project, European Tourism Going Green 2030, we are certificate 11 companies I'm talking about Croatia, from 11 companies from Croatia, from Split-Dalmatia County, and it's all hotels, travel agency, restaurants related to tourism, and everything was free of charge, which was really important for these companies. And now that company have this certificate label about this eco label, about sustainable tourism, about this sustainable business they are doing. So in the end, the first result, which we have in these few weeks, is that they rise the price for about 12% compared to before. So the tourists are really interesting to having kind of the label, which are or certificate, which will show them they are really thinking about the environment, sustainable business, and everything. And as we would like to say, these first 11 companies are now the first one with that label, and they're showing our mission from the Chamber of Commerce is to showing them as an example how the other companies can go further and find another certificate or label about the eco business. So we are really proud about this project, which is just finished, and I hope that we'll find some other which will be related to them. So about the idea regarding the Adriatic Ionian region, we are proud that we are now having the 10 countries, about 40 Chamber of Commerce, which is including, and so we are trying to spread the this idea among each other. So one of these will be definitely spreading the idea about the European tourism going green. And now we are trying to learn from other colleagues from other countries or Chamber of Commerce. Are there any projects which will be similar, so we can join them and make it all together? One of our idea for sure will be to make the kind of the eco labor or something like that. It's all in cloud. Everything is now in cloud. So, and this idea as well as in cloud. So how can we certificate our businesses here in our region? So that's our next goal.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have recovered from the delay, so we might have time for a couple of questions at the end. We hope so. For now, we proceed with the next speaker, with Liz Genal, Senior Project and Policy Officer at the Islands Commission of the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions. So we'll have another point of view from the strategy level for the maritime regions in this case.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elena, and thank you to all the participants and the presentation, very interesting that we have this morning. So thank you also for the project CEnTOUR for inviting the CPMR Islands Commission to express its view on this very challenging topic, as you know, the future of sustainable tourism, which is a particular challenge for islands. First of all, I would like to do a brief introduction about the CPMR. So the Islands Commission is one of the 6 geographical commissions of the CPMR, which is a network of around 150 regions from 24 member states that are campaigning in favor of more balanced development of the European territory. The CPMR General Secretariat dedicates its work on key policy areas, so cohesion policy, maritime affairs, accessibility, energy, climate, etc. And each of our geographical commission, they may focus more on a specific issue. And for example, for our Islands Commission, we target particularly the sustainable tourism. So today's contribution to the discussion is to explain our overall point of view, addressing this topic of the future of sustainable tourism from an insular angle, and to provide examples of good practices from EU interregional projects where we took part. As you know, it is imperative to recognize the crucial role that tourism plays in our insular economies, but also the responsibility that we have in preserving the natural and cultural heritage of island destinations. So considering the islands' vulnerabilities and facing carbon emissions rising, the overexploitation of their natural resources and its lasting impact, how can we ensure that the future of sustainable tourism in islands, especially in the re-emergence of the sector while the pandemic, let's say, is getting down, how to keep its promises? So let's raise a few points. First of all, we should prioritize conservation and environmental protection. It is our duty to safeguard natural resources for future generations, and implementing strict regulation on waste management, promoting renewable energy solutions and preserving sensitive areas through protected zones are some steps that can minimize ecological footprint. We need also to encourage innovation and technology and to overcome barriers to digitalization, as they will play a vital role in shaping the future of sustainable tourism. Digital platform can be very powerful to educate travelers about responsible practices, to encourage eco-friendly transportation options, and to facilitate the sharing of information between tourists, local communities, and businesses. Embracing sustainable technologies such as renewable energy systems and smart infrastructure, it will also pave the way for a greener and more resilient tourism industry and help transition to climate neutral mobility. We should also promote eco-diversification and the circular economy, of course, as we talked this morning, in order to make a good use of insular limited natural resources such as land, water, and raw materials. We should also foster local community engagement. Sustainable tourism can only thrive when it involves the benefits for the local communities. So by actively involving residents in decision-making processes, creating opportunities for employment and entrepreneurship, and fostering cultural preservation, we can ensure that tourism becomes a force for good and uplifting the lives of the islanders and promoting a sense of pride in their heritage. Promoting ecotourism, which include developing participatory processes, is key and is a great benefit for all local communities. We need also to support collaboration and partnerships as change drivers. Of course, governments, local and regional authorities, tourism boards, private sectors entities, non-governmental organizations, they should join forces to envision a sustainable future for tourism. Sharing best practices, as we are doing today, exchanging knowledge and coordinating efforts will enable the tourism industry actors to tackle this complex challenge. Last but not least, we should also put education and awareness at the forefront by cultivating a sense of responsibility among tourists and local alike. We can foster a culture of sustainability. We need to fight seasonality and to promote an all-year-round tourism and highlight ecotourism initiatives, organizing educational campaigns, integrating sustainability into school programs that will help to cultivate a generation of conscious travelers who will appreciate and protect the natural and the cultural wonders of our islands. We need also to invest in training for innovative and sustainable tourism management. I would like also to highlight a few actions led by the CPMR Islands Commission. So the Island Commission released a technical note in October 2021 on the COVID-19 impacts on the tourism sector in EU islands and focused on what is the future for the EU tourism governance. So we gathered data and reflection and recommendations on tourism governance at EU level for inclusive and sustainable recovery of the sector. We are also participating in different interregional cooperation projects, and two of our last projects also focused on sustainable tourism. One of them was a Winter Med project. It was co-financed with the Interreg Med program and led by ENCI Toscana and involved the Balearic Islands, Corsica, Cyprus, and South Aegean. The objective was the promotion of the transition from the 3S, sea, sun, sand, of insular destination during summer to alternative, sustainable, and an all-year-round use of those territories. So in terms of methodology, it was a participatory process in each partner for making better decisions to empower local and regional policymakers, eco-operators, local communities in sustainable tourism planning. As outputs, we delivered regional action plans with policy measures and action for sustainable tourism for each pilot. And we also deliver a transnational strategy building on common specificities for joint vision for the Mediterranean as an all-year-round tourism destination. Finally, we also released some policy papers and recommendations dedicated to the regional and national policymakers to better exploit the project results. And we also produce a memorandum of understanding to ensure a continuity with different stakeholders that were initiated within this project, WinterMed. We gathered around 30 signatories that committed to amplify the impact of the project's results. The second project is the Destimed Plus project, also co-financed within the Interreg Med program. It was led by Lazio, the region Lazio in Italy, and involved pilots in Sardinia, Corsica, Crete, and South Aegean as well. The objective of this project was to promote the integration of tourism and conservation planning at local, regional, and Mediterranean levels for a development of ecotourism routes in protected areas. So the methodology was to capitalize on past activities from previous projects, MIT and Destimed, and to develop tools for measuring and improving the sustainability of ecotourism products. We also incorporated socioeconomic governance and conservation indicators and provided capacity building among local ecotourism stakeholders. So as a result, the project outputs were the Mediterranean Ecotourism Consortium, called the MEC, which is a forum for policy exchange, learning and collaboration on ecotourism. We also released a policy roadmap with key policy orientations for integration of tourism conservation policies in the Mediterranean. And last but not least, also a memorandum of understanding with key commitments to capitalize on the Destimate Plus results through the MEC, through this forum. Last but not least, I would like also to underline that the CPMR is a signatory of the Glasgow Declaration. It is an initiative officially launched during the COP26 in 2021, aiming to bring together public and private tourism stakeholders to align the sector with the climate ambition and with the scientific recommendation through this international agreement. So as a result, the CPMR is working on a climate action plan with measures to reduce our carbon footprint, to mobilize regions, and to promote practices and action with other partners' organizations, to also foster capacity building and to raise awareness on fundings. And finally, I would like also to highlight that the CPMR, via its other geographical commission as well, including, of course, the Islands Commission, was actively involved in the EU Transition Pathway for Tourism and its related publication. So this is a long process that was launched in the last year by the European Commission, who adopted a new industrial strategy updated in 2021 in light of the COVID to accelerate the transition and increase the resilience and to help EU industrial ecosystems to remain competitive while leading the twin transformations. So the methodology was the launch of the transition pathway to be co-created and implemented with public and private stakeholders. So we were involved in the first consultation for input in 2021. And now we are monitoring and making progress through a collaboration platform. In the end, so the CPMR was mentioned in the summary of commitments of June 2022. And we managed to include specific references to peripheral regions and related message and recommendations. So in conclusion, the future of sustainable tourism for islands require a fundamental shift in our mindset and practices, one that places the well-being of our EU islands and their communities at the forefront. The CPMR and its Islands Commission will continue, of course, to advocate, to ensure that EU islands' needs are taken into account and to help them in transitioning as sustainable tourist destinations. The CPMR Islands Commission continue to follow and to support development of tourism policies affecting islands, and we are still supporting interregional cooperation projects in line with those objectives. So let us work together hand in hand to ensure that our EU island thrives, not just for today, but for the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sure that all our partners and our participants found really interesting to know the different strategies and how they can integrate with each other and with the local objectives. And now I'm really happy to invite to speak Virginia Fernandez Trapa. It was a real honor to be able to have her with us. She's program coordinator of the Sustainable Development of Tourism Department at the United Nations World Tourism Organization. She will speak about advancing circularity in the tourism sector through commitments, and it's important to have an even broader point of view. Thank you for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much to the Adriatic and Ionian Forum and all the members of the CEnTOUR Project Consortium for the invitation. I'm going to try to share my screen. Please, if you can confirm that you are able to see the slides. Trying to put it on presentation mode.
Not yet, but
Can you see it?
just a moment. Mm.
You share the presenter view, not the slideshow. You have a second
Slideshow.
monitor.
I
You have
have a
to
second monitor, yes. What do I do?
make a new share the second monitor.
Okay, 1 second, please. Sorry for this inconvenience. Same problem, huh?
No.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah, okay. Don't
Is it okay now?
before, yes, not now.
Okay. I'm sorry for the suspense.
Yeah.
Okay, we still showing.
Yeah.
Okay, go to the up bar that says that you are sharing now and click on new share. After that, select the slideshow. Don't close the PowerPoint. Just from
Yes,
the
put
Zoom
in
bar,
new share, yes.
new share and select the slideshow.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Well,
we are able to.
sorry for that. That's a bumpy start, but
We just
anyway,
need
thank you again for the invitation. Can you now see the second slide? And then
Yes.
okay, super. Okay, let's hope there's no more bumps. Thanks for everyone for your patience, bearing with me with this. I mean, basically, I wanted to share with you that the work that we do at UNWTO on circular economy is mainly taking place within the framework of a program called the One Planet Sustainable Tourism Program. That's a participatory platform where many stakeholders collaborate. And we are leading this program in close collaboration with UNEP, the United Nations Environment Program, with mandate from the United Nations General Assembly to support the implementation of SDG 12, which, as you know, is probably among the SDGs, the one that is more closely connected to circularity, although obviously circularity is cross-cutting to many other goals. So our core focus is SDG 12, but we also address connected goals like the ones you see on the screen, which are mainly those of environmental nature. The work as of now is basically structured on around three main work streams. The work streams focus on climate action and circularity. Circularity understood through the entry points of plastics and food waste. The previous speaker, Liz, was already talking a little bit about the Glasgow Declaration. Thanks for that, Liz. Appreciate it to have you as a signatory and also an ambassador. So, I mean, these initiatives, what they do basically is to provide action frameworks to accelerate sustainable consumption and production while we are addressing the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. And I wanted to focus the presentation, today's presentation, on them because we think, or at least we hope, they can provide, let's say, tools for continuity to the outputs and achievements of the CEnTOUR project and what you have all been putting your efforts on. So all the initiatives from our point of view have circularity at their heart. From UNWTO, we see plastics and food waste, as I mentioned, as clear entry points of circularity in the tourism value chain. There are other entry points, obviously. I mean, textiles could be an easy one to think of, and many other materials that we use while providing a tourism experience can be subject of circularity, but one has to start somewhere, right? So we decided to prioritize plastics and food waste for the time being. And then you have the Glasgow Declaration, which has the main focus of addressing climate change, promoting climate action, so mitigation and adaptation, and for which circularity is, as we know, a key strategy that can help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Before I go into a little bit of details of the different initiatives, I just wanted to reiterate, and also Liz was echoing this, the importance to accelerate action. You all know, we all know, COVID hit our sector harder than anyone would have imagined, but perhaps there was one good thing, which is the fact that the crisis gave us the opportunity to rethink, and that now we have perhaps more consensus as to interpreting sustainability as competitiveness and interpreting sustainability as resilience. Without sustainability, we're no longer competitive, we're no longer resilient, and of course, we're no longer sustainable. Our last forecasts are already projecting international tourist arrivals to almost reach pre-pandemic levels this year. The percentages is between 80 and 95% of international tourist arrivals will be recovered this year. In some regions like Europe, it's already fully recovering, right? So we can't just go back to business. This is the window of opportunity is closing, and really we need to make sure that we speed up as much as possible. I'll take a few minutes to run you through the commitments that we are proposing and why we are proposing commitments. The logic was to try to simplify the way forward and to propose to stakeholders of all kinds, from policymaker to accommodation business, SME experience provider, everyone, big and small, to provide them with clear guidance on the way forward and what one can do. And this is why we embarked on the development of voluntary commitments, which all kinds of stakeholders can subscribe. I'll start with the Glasgow Declaration, which is obviously willing to support the implementation of the Paris Agreement and is asking signatories to commit to support the goals of Paris, reducing emissions almost by half by 2030 and reaching net zero by 2050 at the latest. And the ask for the signatories is that they would deliver a climate plan within 12 months of becoming signatories, and that their plan would be aligned with 5 pathways: measure greenhouse gas emissions, decarbonize operations, regenerate, to also achieve better balance with nature, collaborate and finance. And then signatories are asked to report on an annual basis to increase transparency and accountability as much as possible. These commitments are easy to read, but they're not easy to implement. We know that developing a climate plan may seem a daunting task, and many of the signatories are facing challenges when doing so. But what is important is that many stakeholders are thinking about it, right? And perhaps you don't need the perfect plan for start. You just need a plan so that your plan gets better with time. That's the philosophy behind this initiative that we advanced together as a coalition, as a network of like-minded entities committed to the same goal. Since we launched 18 months ago, already 800 signatories have become, 800 organizations in tourism have become signatories. This is mainly businesses. In fact, it is mainly tour operators. But we also have some signatories at national level, for example, 11 signatories at national level, or accommodation businesses, and all kinds of entities. try to provide support to the signatories implementing the commitments, we are also obviously carrying out research and trying to provide guidance. So we have already released an overview of measurement tools and methodologies to measure greenhouse gas emissions, and we're working on guidance for policymakers to integrate climate action in tourism policies. Same goes for guidance on the development of climate plans. When it comes to the Global Tourism Plastics Initiative, this is again a voluntary commitment. And on this case, the signatories are requested to embrace a vision for a circular economy of plastics. So it's not a plastic-free initiative. We don't think that tourism will be plastic-free. Perhaps it's not even safe to think about a plastic-free tourism sector as a whole, but we need to clearly eliminate problematic and unnecessary plastic items. That includes single-use plastics, and the plastics that remain in operations, we need to try to make sure that they are as much as possible reusable, that we go for reusable alternatives. And signatories are also requested to try and collaborate on value chain level. So, for example, speaking with suppliers, asking them if they can provide plastic items with more post-consumer recycled content, or working with waste managers, asking them what can be recycled in a certain location, so that we really, let's say, when applying segregation practices, we are really optimizing what we do, right? It's very context sensitive, so one needs to be aware of what is going on with regards to waste management where one operates to be able to make the right decisions. But providing this hierarchy already is, we hope to think is guiding, right? So first eliminate everything that is problematic, then transition to reusables, and then discuss with suppliers and waste managers. This, same as Glasgow is trying to support Paris Agreement, with this initiative, we are trying to support the readiness of tourism stakeholders vis-a-vis the upcoming international plastic treaty on plastic pollution that, as you know, is being negotiated as we speak. And the initiative has also grown in the number of signatories, including 50 entities per year. And there is obviously also a connection between the work of Global Tourism Plastics Initiative and the blue economy. Same goes for Glasgow Declaration, especially when we think about the regeneration pathway that is asking stakeholders to think of ways in which they can contribute to preserve or restore the ability of nature to draw down carbon. And we know the huge role that the ocean plays in this regard. So a lot of cross-cutting connections as usual. We obviously know that we are asking for a lot. So for the signatories, we try to support in the best way we can, knowledge management. They all have to report on an annual basis. So we do follow-ups, trying to make sure that what you committed to is happening, or if it's not happening, that at least the reasons why it is not happening are clear. There's not a vocation to audit anybody from our end. It's rather how we can really promote accountability and not necessarily pledges that are easy to make, but commitments which have then a follow-up mechanism behind them. Here you can see a few of the publications that we have in the repository. I mean, all those QR codes, I'll be sharing the presentation later, are leading you to pages with plenty of resources of all kinds. On this slide, you see the manuals, but there is also interviews with stakeholders. There's also recordings from events. I mean, all kinds of things that can perhaps be interesting. And please don't hesitate to share your resources as well. I know that we already have some of the CEnTOUR resources featured under the repositories, but happy to receive any contributions that you wish to make to further disseminate the achievements of CEnTOUR. Besides influencing changes in the way tourism operates at the business level, of course, it's very important for us to try to push for policies to really encompass these elements of climate action, of circularity. It is not exactly the traditional competence of our policymakers to think about environmental issues. Nevertheless, it is of paramount importance. We are happy to report that both Glasgow Declaration and the Global Tourism Plastics Initiative have been recognized as action frameworks to support transitioning to circular economy in different high-level fora. For example, the United Nations General Assembly in the last resolution is welcoming both of the initiatives. We are trying to promote the initiatives at the G20 level, including them in the guidelines, documents, and so on. There's one interesting decision for you to know, which came out in the conference that took place in Nicosia last year in Cyprus, where ministers of environment acknowledged both Glasgow Declaration and Global Tourism Plastics Initiative as tools to advance circularity, and so on and so forth. So these references may seem a bit perhaps high level for SMEs operating in the market, but at the end of the day, we really need to work bottom up and we really need to work top down. So that's also part of how we try to push for policies to change. In our last review of national tourism policies, which is something that we do more or less on a regular basis, last one was concluded last year, we only saw globally around 13 national tourism policies that were somehow embracing the principles of circularity. It's still very, very limited in the way that circular economy is integrated in national tourism policies. So hopefully by showcasing also examples and disseminating best practice, we can encourage policymakers to create better, more enabling environments. And then the last work stream that we have as part of the One Planet Sustainable Tourism Program activities is the one that connects with sustainable food systems. On this occasion, I'm not calling it an initiative because it's still not yet an initiative for the moment. It's a roadmap, and it's following the same rationale, basically trying to highlight a hierarchy in which decision making can be taking place when we are thinking about food waste. Reducing food waste, as you know, is one of the targets under goal 12, is notably target 12.3. So first of all, we need to prevent food waste and food surplus from happening as much as possible. This implies we really need to make sure that food is managed sustainably at all levels, from procurement to the preparation of menus, to how the guests are consuming the food and so on. Then when we have prevented as much as possible, the surplus food that we still have has to be redistributed to people. There are many legislative challenges in this regard, but again, one has to look at his or her own context and see what is feasible where we operate. And then once we have redistributed to people, the next steps are related to circularity. So redistributing for animal feed, for example, also where regulation permits, or applying different revalorization processes that are closely connected with circular economy. So anaerobic digestion to produce biogas or to produce compost, energy recovery through incineration, etc., etc. So that's again a bit the logic to try to guide us, as many stakeholders as possible, to advance circularity and climate action. And I hope that we will be able to welcome many of you as signatories of Glasgow Declaration, Global Tourism Plastics Initiative, and hopefully an upcoming food initiative when it materializes. So thank you. I look forward to exchanging with you in the debate.
No, thank you. And we really found a lot of food for thought from your and from the other speakers' presentations. We are perfectly on time, so it would be good if you have any question for any other speakers, both from inside the project or outside, from the experts that are still connected with us and kindly, present. So if there is any question, really don't hesitate. Yes? The microphone is coming.
Thank you so much. Fotis Vlachos from the Hellenic Ministry of Culture and Sports, Directorate of International Relations. Thank you so much for this presentation, and especially for closing this project that seems to be extremely important, as the subject is relevant to all of us for the sustainable tourism sector. I just wanted to congratulate and to say a big thank you to all the team, because it seems that it is a work of different countries, especially for countries that they are not cooperating so often. I mean, Moldova, North Macedonia, and so on, that you are participating in this project, all of you, and Greece and Italy and so on. So it seems that it has a very good results, taking under consideration the number of small, medium enterprises that have been direct, indirect beneficiaries. So congratulations on this. From the presentation, I just wanted just one clarification to Irina, because with Irina Kozma, we are cooperating a lot also, and for USAR, being member to the USAR Task Force for Sustainable Tourism, the thematic steering group actually for sustainable tourism, and with the USDR that Irina Kozma has worked so many hard and cooperating a lot with us for this. There was in the presentation a specific flagship certificate. So I would like one clarification on this, because is it connected with the certificate of cultural roots or the Council of Europe or not?
No, it's related to Danube region only.
Only to Danube region. That means it is a certificate that is provided directly as flagship project to cultural roots. Is it correct?
We can choose a project, a process, or an initiative. So together with all the steering group members and all the stakeholders, of course, if they want to be part of this process, we try to choose a flagship which is specific for all the Danube region. In this respect, we choose the Danube Small Project Fund, like an initiative, and this to better sustain the cultural roots like a process, in order, first of all, to link all the existing cultural roots with the other cultural roots in other regions, and also to sustain the new initiative. We have a very quite new, I suppose you know about, we support a lot the Cyril and Methodius cultural roots.
Yeah.
They have only 1 year obtained, but it's not the same certificate with the European.
It's very good initiative, because in reality, when we make an assessment from USAR, for example, region for cultural roots linked to EUSDR, when we know that you have the certificate as flagship project, that means that there is a relation to all the work that is happening in USDR. Is it correct?
Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
So we invite you once again to collaborate.
Thanks.
And thank you for your collaboration. Once again, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for your question and for the congratulations. And we are at the end of the conference. We just to conclude, is we surely, like, circular economy in tourism is not easy. We are a service-based sector with many, many intersectoral relationships, but that's why it's challenging, and we learned that it's possible. We have so many other things to do now, and we really, I think we all share the vision that this local global approach is the best one to proceed, you know, in, yes, so please.
Sorry, Elena, you're the last word, but I would just like to say from the business side or from the entrepreneur side. So many of our entrepreneur or businessmen are thinking, what are we doing now? Again, one meeting, again, one round table. We are discussing among each other so many times, but I think it's really, really, really important to discuss among each other, because we are here, we are in the middle of the triangle, and we're supposed to be aware about the sustainability, about the tourism, and the next generation, about the real next generation tourism. Why? Because if we are here aware, if we are talking, maybe it's boring, maybe it's not like that. Let's be honest, yeah. But the end, if we are so strong in that idea, we in the middle of the happy triangle, and that happy triangle means the happy tourists, happy local people and happy businessmen or entrepreneur. And if we are hiding them all together, then we'll be on the end successful. Thank you, Elena.
Perfect. I think we can just agree with that. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you to all the partners of CEnTOUR and all the SMEs, really. And we can enjoy Corfu now. And so the conclusion. Thank you very much again. Sorry, one very important information, the light lunch is downstairs on the third floor at the restaurant. Yeah. Yeah, please.